Good morning. Today is the 14th of May 2024 and I'm just going to very briefly go over my watch list for today. I've got some levels up on the screen. Just had some bad news. Unfortunately, the funeral I was attended on Friday, my uncle died. So that's 2 deaths and 2 funerals in the last couple of weeks, so it's not good. So I'm going to just do my list quickly and I'm going to go and process that a bit better. Right, news today we had PPI, and you can see we had this big negative reaction. Keep an eye on, got Powell speaking at 10 and Fed speaking at 9 in a few minutes, so that could move the market. And we got CPI tomorrow and that could move the market. So we had this big negative reaction and we gave it all back, and it's, if you look at the 3-minute or the 2-minute chart, came all the way back and it's kind of looking back up to where we started. So don't really know which direction it wants to go, but it's above the weighted VWAP. And here you go. I always, on these data releases, I always put in the fibs levels. So I got 50%, and you can see the pullback came right back down into the 50%, and it's probably going to trail the weighted VWAP as well. But that's not my levels. My levels for today are as follows. I was watching this area anyway for about 52.10 to 52.20 area, and where we came in today, the pre-market low is exactly where we want to be looking for another bounce later on. So if we come back down for the double bottom, we can look for an entry. Area of high volume on the volume profile, we've got the point of control below, which can act as a natural area of support. 52.10, so stop losses can go there. And it's an area of confluence as well. We've got tops of candles and bottoms of candles in that area. So that's the area I'm waiting for a bounce. That's my prime bounce area. My prime rejection area would be this area of supply between 52.60 and 52.70. Last couple of days we came into that area and we put in this double top, and potentially, just get my pen out. So put in this double top, potentially we could be looking at a head and shoulders pattern, or we could just be starting to put in a bit of a change in trend, where we'll see what that brings. So if we get back up into this area here, 52.70 is the prime area based on a previous level. If I zoom out, you've got an area of confluence, so 52.70 is my favourite area for rejection as well. I quite like that area, and I'll be waiting for a change of trend and some confirmation before going short. Same for the bounce down here. That's it really. Higher risk plays. We've got yesterday's low where we bounced in the pre-market. Let's have a look at the 5-minute. Yeah, there you go. Yesterday's low, we came in and we both sold off, pulled the way back and came back down and tested that area. So that's probably gone now. It's not the first touch, so not high risk if we come back down that area for a bounce. But I think if we get down to that area, we're probably looking to get down to the bottom of that candle for a bounce. This area here, 52.20 area. And then high risk rejection, maybe yesterday's high area. That's a double top. Like I said, I prefer to get that, but this area is the area of confluence, more higher probability that we will see a bit of resistance up there, and that's based on the hourly chart and the area of confluence we just talked about. Let's go back to the hourly, this area here. Okay, just move on to SPY. Still in an uptrend. You can probably put a trend on this up movement. Let's zoom in. So we've got the same area as ES. We've got this area of supply at the top, 523.50, 523.45 area. It's a preferred higher probability rejection area, but you can also watch the double top, yesterday's high. Was that the pre-market high yesterday, that area there? We've seen the double top there. Bounce area, I do quite like 518.42. We talked about this yesterday as well, and today's news brought it right down to that level and bounce. I wasn't really watching charts at that point because I had that bad news, so so I missed it. I probably would have been looking for an entry down there in the pre-market, as it's a level, and the level we've been watching for a few days, but that'll be on the ES, not SPY. Higher probability bounce area will be probably this area of demand at the bottom, 515. We can watch that area for bounce. There's point of controls down there, so there's lots of heavy volume there previously, so we can expect 514, 515 for a bounce. And that's it really, that's the only two levels. NQ. Just looking at that volume point of control. So it's this volume here with the red line coming across, holding up the resistance there. Pre-market high, yesterday's high, all in the same area as well. So I do quite like that area for a rejection. I have got a level 18336 just above that area, so that's an area based on the previous pivots, and we've got a little bit of area confluence there, tops and bottoms of candles along there as well. But the volume, as you can see on the profile tool, is just below, so potentially we could come into that area and look for a rejection. If we rally, we rip up, we can look for a break and retest off of these two pivots long, and that will be 183360 to watch. Bounce wise, I do like the bounce down here, 1810, 18,100, but I prefer this area here for a bounce. We've got a volume shelf as well, so 17,900 for a bounce. Let's just draw a level in, get a better idea of where we want. I'm going to say there. The reason I like that area is because we've got tops of pivots there, and we've got tops of pivots there, and we've got bottoms of pivots there as well. So that's the area I like for a bounce, but looking strong. So let's look at QQQ next. Okay, we've got this massive area of supply above 446.60, 446 to 446.66. So we can watch this area for potential rejection. In fact, I've been changing my colours around now. It's not there, but let's just change that to demand. No, supply. Overhead resistance. So we can watch 445 to 446 for rejection, or we can watch for the break and retest of the pre-market high. And then I still quite like this area for a bounce, 436.20 to 438, which is the weekly trend line going back 24 years. And then I'm just going to very quickly look at SPX. Still got 5200 in sight and 5300. These are the two areas to watch for. So and keep an eye on them. If we're going to go long and we're below 5200, long on ES, and we're kind of down here, then we're going into resistance. So just keep an eye on those two areas I'm watching for. Quickly look at oil. You can see this inverse, kind of inverse head and shoulders setting up. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Neckline can be around here. It's not ideal. And we came back down and tested that area. That's the trend line we put in yesterday, 77.50 for a bounce. Probably not quite there yet. We're trading at 78 right now. So I do quite like if we get into this area of demand, 77 down to 76.50 for a bounce. Otherwise we can watch for a breakout over these pivots. This one here for a long. So 79.50 to 80 for a long. And then we've got overhead resistance and area confluence just there. So we can watch that area for a rejection, 80.90. Gold. Same levels as yesterday really. We bounced, look at that. How about that for a bounce? We said watch this area, 23.43. Hovered around there all day, the end of yesterday. What time was that? No, yesterday morning. Came back, retested it, came back, retested it again today. So that's a good area to watch. Point of controls in that area as well. And it tried quite a few times there, 3 or 4 times. Once there, and it still couldn't break through, and it bounced. So we can watch for a break and retest of the pre-market high, which is over 23.60. And then watch up here for rejection, 23.76. That's an area of confluence. We've got tops of candles, bottoms of candles, and this pivot as well. So probably that zone up to 23.82. RTY is now breaking out over that pivot, so I do quite like, I'm going to change this to about there. I quite like the break and retest of that area. It's breaking out. If it pulls back into yesterday's high, then we can look for a long 2094 down to 2090. We do have a supply zone just above though, just here. So, and it's an area coming into an area of confluence as well. So we've got to try and get through the zone. Let's just draw in the buffer, taking this point of control in mind and these two volume candles. That's the volume we've got, so we're right in the middle of that volume right now. So we need to really break out that area, come back and retest this area for the long. So because of that, and because we're in an area of confluence, and because of the volume, I don't like the long as much as it looks. If you zoom in, it looks great, but when you zoom out, it's not so great. So be wary. If we come back, we can look for a bounce or a pullback. We can probably put a trend line in. That's an hourly trend line there. Let's do a more local one. Kind of this area there. So that pivot, this pivot here, come out, we've broken the trend line and we're back above it. So it doesn't really give much away, doesn't really help. So we can watch this area. If we pull back into this area here, pre-market low, we can look for a bounce. And we've got 2020 for a bounce area down to 22,000, which is a psychological number. YM, again, all these levels we had from yesterday or the last few weeks, come back in, retest it again today. Look at that, after that PPI or CPI, whatever, I think it's PPI today, data drop. We got to get over yesterday's high, and there's not much volume above. You can see that from this volume profile tool here. All the volumes below, so we can watch this area for a bounce. Nice area of confluence, tops of candles, bottoms of candles. It's a big wide area. But if we break yesterday's high, then we can watch it for a break and retest long, and you can see there's a lack of volume up here as well. So when we get above all these pivots, sorry about it, let's do a straighter line. Oh, here we go, straight line. So we get above that area, then we lose it. We've got a big void up here of not much volume. So that's what we're looking for. And that's it. Oh, Bitcoin, how's that looking? It's just going sideways the last few days. Not the greatest of charts. Again, we're waiting for it to get down to 50,000, 52,000 for a potential bounce. But we need to break over this pivot, yesterday's high pivot, which we put an equal high in from the previous day, so from Friday last week. So break that to see a push up, or break below this area to see the push down, and then we've got a new low to try and put in. But we're still in the middle there, so nothing really. And then back to ES to see what's happened over the last few minutes, and then we're pretty much done. I look like it's giving it all back. So open there, we're actually higher than we were when the data dropped now. It is actually on one of my other charts. I've got an alert sitting at 52.50. That's an area we've been watching for a while. We've been trading that area quite a lot as well. You can see it's an area of confluence as well. So we are at an area pre-market high, 52.50. So I'm gonna mark that up as well. Not sure I like the idea now, because I've traded it off of there. Hang on, wrong level. There we go, 52.50. I traded that short the other day, a couple of days ago. It was that Friday, and then area bounced again off of that area, and now we're coming up to reject. We rejected it once today on that big data drop, and we're in that area again now, and just putting a bit of a topping tail candle on the 5 minute. So just to recap levels, I quite like the bounce down at 52.10 to 52.15 area confluence, and you can see we've got a volume shelf as well, not the point of control because that's down here with a higher volume. It's going to be hard getting over this yesterday's high, pre-market high area, only because we've got the other volume shelf as well, so there's a bit of volume in that area, but we can watch for a break and retest of this area long. And then we do have this rejection zone up here, so beware if we do go long, and it's an area of supply, double top, and I'm watching 52.74 rejection down, and that's it. And then I'm watching for a bounce at 51.50, so this area as well is back in play. You can see point of controls there, lots of volume, and 51.50 we've traded a few times, so let's just mark that up as well. Zoom out. There you go, by zooming out you know we played it because it's touched it a few times, touched it there, all around there, so it's a significant area for a bounce. Okay, I think that's it. Next up I'm going to leave the order flow screen on, which looks nothing like that because I've not loaded it yet, but that'll be next. I'll load that in NinjaTrader in a second. And order flow will give you the footprints and the cumulative delta, and if you're trading reversals, quite useful to know whether you can see exhaustion or absorption in the market. So okay, thank you for watching.